I think we're running. So, I don't know. I don't get the people, saying yeah, it's not political. Or it's just like, to political is the truth. No, to be political is to be a bullshitter. You can't stand on truth because, oh, that's not political. Are you kidding me? So you're not going to have another opinion because it's not political to have what, it's just bullshit. It's absolutely bullshit. Of course, the most of the world is political bullshit, right? Let's see here. Apparently, it's not going to turn around. Okay, let's see here. There we go. So, I don't know how they became so cold, and so apparently I got up late. I was sweating and having it very hot, and I actually drop off my. I had so much, so I ended up dropping my what do you call it? My sleeping bag, and dropping that totally off. I was just totally overheating, and then all of a sudden it just become rock cold, really really cold, But anyway, I didn't get it. It was so hot. I was just totally sweating. I was just getting. I was like thinking, why is it so hot? And then all of a sudden it just, well, I guess that's the typical mornings. Absolutely terrible. I remember in Israel, it also had this cold in the morning, but as at the very moment, this of course was in the spring. At the very moment the sun went up, it was hot. It was, so that was just a period in the last bit of the time of the night that it was somewhat cold, and you wanted to make some hot tea or coffee, or I guess I made some cinnamon. I had this with me also as well, and you made a little fire to making some tea and all that, right? And before you really got, before you got it finished, the sun had come up, and then it pretty much didn't. Of course, it was nice to have a drink in the morning, but at that very point when the sun went up, you pretty much literally was heating up already. So, but yeah, I just saw something from Russia, and one of them was talking, and it's of course not only, it's just something that it's like, oh, but that's not a political opinion, right? And it's like, so truth depends on, or opinions depends on being political. It's just bullshit. Oh, but that's not political, so I'm not going to have that opinion because it's not political. You know who the greatest political power is on earth? Hmm? Well, that's the Pope. In Rome, in stinking Rome, and he sets himself up as the highest authority. You think political is correct? Hmm? If the Pope sets himself up as the greatest political power in the entire world, and you want it to be political, well, what are you saying? Well, you're just full of bullshit. That's what you're saying. And you're not standing in truth. You're just standing with all the bullshitters, the diabolical Satanists, you know, we're full of demons. Much of the world is bowing down to the Antichrist, and people can't even see how much power the Vatican has. So many people is like, oh, well, the Vatican doesn't have any power in regards to the papacy, so-called papacy, the poopacy, as I call it. Well, the great stinking poopacy have no power in the world. Is that so? Is that so? What ignorant bullshit to point, to say, But that's the state of the people. The people don't know any history. We don't know the Bible. We don't know anything anymore, and thereby we just can be so, you know, deceived. You're so biblical illiterate. We're so historical illiterate. we're so ignorant. It just continues and goes on and on and on. We love the bullshit. We love the lies. We love the deceptions, and we hate the truth. That's how it is. It just, when people say that Denmark is a Protestant nation, well, where's the Protestant then? I don't see any Protestants. Where's the Protestants? We're returning right back to the Roman Catholic mother hall of Rome. Mystery Babylon the Great, and drunk by the blood of the saints. That's Rome, 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 your boat down the bloody stream. Anyway, besides that, I've been, and I don't know, I'm coming to a point where I'm like, I should really take a break on these things. But I've been trying to sort out something in regards of my Slim client. In regards of, moving over to that. So I might have a little bit, not too much, but most likely, but a little bit in regards of computing when the whole thing was to go totally off grid. Of course, the electric company didn't want to take apparently my power. They have just used it as a way to commit fear, but really what they really want is just to bash you and take your money. That's what they are interested in, and force their insanity. Now, of course, in regards to the mobile, I shouldn't have a radiating spy mobile either, but it's because that's radiating, that's unhealthy as well. But if they're putting they put these stinking spy meters, radiating spy meters all over, and of course now they're committing tyranny against the people in regards of control this and that, and have the power be more expensive on sometimes and this and that to further make madness against the people. So because they like to do that, it's that tyrannic bullshit all over, and it's disgusting. But to be political, political correctness is bullshit. It is satanic garbage. And who wants to be political correct and not stand in truth, Political correct to push the stinking injections, Oh, because that's political correct. So you're having that opinion because you want to be political correct with the government, and you don't want to, you just bullshit. Just totally depravity, and I'm so sick and tired of it. Why is it that people can't stand for truth? Oh, I want to be in support of the government and these bullshitting Satanists who just want to kill us off. I was further listening to some of these Russians, and they seem to be ready to further go into the war. Why? War. Don't we have enough suffering in the world? You want to be sent to the front line to be mowed down by bullets, How can people? But I guess it's the same with people and the injections, right? They just go on a line and just stand there and just, people are just absolutely insane. Apparently people just love to just die, It's just for nothing, If you're going to die for something, well then die for Christ, At least that's based on truth, All this other thing to take up a weapon and go and kill other people, made in the image of God. Well, actually, made in the image of the gods, plural. But it's just disgusting, Why are people so utterly depraved, Can't you see it's just madness? These Satanists, and the world is full of Satanists. Hardcore Satanists are out there running things. And you want to do what they say? Just, what madness, Why would you do what these Satanists are telling you, right? Why would you go and commit to killing others? You're afraid that the government will kill you if you don't go and kill other people. Well, then let the government kill you. You know, at least that's if you're going to why again if you're told that you need to mow down these 100 people, right, or 20 people or something like that, right, and if you do not do that, you will die. Well, what is the right thing to do then? Well, to be killed. Why should you be? Why should you be? Willing to commit an atrocity against other people, to murder them, just because someone is saying that you're going to get murdered if you do not do it. That they murder you. That would be the right thing to do. It wouldn't be the right. Of course, we don't want to die. Well, apparently we do anyway, because apparently people are just going to war and having a good risk of being killed. And maybe they, I don't know, for glory of what, to go out and get a medal, a piece of metal for your, whatever, put it on and all that, so people can go and see how a murderous, disgusting filth, you get glory, right? You get glory for having been out there and killing other people on behalf of your country and nation and all that, right? Yeah. And how's that adding up with attacking another nation, right? Does that give it more glory to attack another nation? And of course, I'm not talking only about the Russians. I'm talking about, they just go out and attack one nation after another, right? The West. So it's not only the Russians, it's, the West as well, going out and ruining one nation after another. Oh, but 3 skyscrapers exploded and 2 airplanes hit 2 of them, right? And then those skyscrapers became dust, and then apparently that was enough to apparently get NATO into action, as far as I understand it. And then we just began to attack other nations. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Is that the only thing that needs to be done to get all that in action, To just ruin a whole nation? Like, you gotta be kidding me. So we had, 3,000 people were killed. So how many were killed afterwards, in regards of Afghanistan and Iraq? And of course, Iraq has nothing to do with that. And Yemen, not Yemen, what is it called? Some things going on in Yemen, I can't remember. But that was Gaddafi, I can't remember. What's a nation of whatever, And of course, on a spiritual level, there might have been some curses, like for example, Gaddafi was against Israel and all that. That's usually not a good thing, to be against the Jews. And that's another thing, right? When people are pointing out the Jews might this and the Jews might that and all that, like it's only the Jews that have criminals, in the world, right? We have criminals all over the world in all nations, and people want to focus on the Jews and put all of the things on the Jews. Bullshit. That's bullshit. Absolutely bullshit. To have Israel back on the map is the greatest. Of course, the Mohammedans don't have Israel. Of course not, of course, but the Mohammedans don't accept Israel, so they don't have Israel on their maps. Now, I don't know if there's any Mohammedan maps that actually do it, but for the most part, as far as I know, they don't have Israel on the map because they don't accept Israel as a nation. But it is the greatest blessing to the entire world that Israel and the Jews are back in the land. You can't tell me that it's not a great blessing. Why is it not a great blessing, How many blessings do we get by the Jews being back in the land? We have Hebrew being spoken again. We have, teachings on Hebrew. that has just, because of so many Jews speaking Hebrew again, we have findings in the earth and places in Israel in regards of biblical confirming the Bible. We have, we can go to Israel today and get a smell of the environment in Israel and the land, and like when Yeshua was walking around and all the man-made nonsense and all that, we can get a live experience by just going to Israel. It's a blessing on so many levels, and we better pay attention to what is going on, because if the Jews are back in the land, the clock might be getting closer to things. Now we have Israel back in the land. How far and how long will it be till a temple stands? Could be very close. We're closing each and every day. Anyway, let's see. Russia doubles down on ineffective tactics, then spans critics. 22 November Ukraine map updates. And again, you Russians in Russia, why would you go to war? Why would you take up arms and go into Ukraine and are you to just be cannon fodder, to just be put in the if you're not going to be shot by the Ukrainians, you're going to be shot by your Russian teammates that is standing behind you. So if you're fleeing and going back, they're right there ready to mow you down, right? Just give me a break. Why would you do these things, Satanist has been on every level, they are fixing the wall so you people, ignorant and, to just follow along with the devil's things, are going into war to be butchered. Why would you go into war to be butchered for Satanists? They're on both sides. It doesn't matter if it's the West or Russia and all that. They're all Satanists in the top, doing the devil's work, It does, just give me a break. You people, we the people, should not stand up to go out and kill others. Why would we go out and kill others? If we should do anything, we should go out and preach the good news about Jesus dying for the sins of the world, and not letting people turning to idols and images and icons and cookies and all that bullshit, but lead them to the true version of Jesus Christ. That's what we should do. And we might die in the progress. Well, at least we're standing for truth, and not for all the devil's bullshit. Anyway, let's see what this guy has to say. Yeah, so according to these things, Russia are pushing on in this specific place, and they seem to have been pushing for a couple of days, going back from the other thing, right? And they're just putting these soldiers out there, and then they're just going to be mowed down, Two
main clusters.
Yeah.
Looks like that we see first near north of.
So they're going to press a huge wave of people on those places, and how many are going to be butchered and slaughtered? And of course it's all insanity anyway, because the nations can pretty much destroy the world multiple times anyway, right? So it's just, you gotta be kidding me. Why are we going into these? What? And of course, it's, this special operation. It's an invasion. Call it what it is. You invaded another nation. That's how it is, right? And again, it was Russia that attacked Ukraine, not the other way around. So you can call it what you want, but that's an invasion, right? Invasion. If another nation begins to go into another nation, that's, yeah, an invasion, right? Trying to take it over and all that. A special operation. Nah, nah, nah. Anyway, but I guess, propaganda prevails, right? Special operation. Yeah, special operation, I guess. Okay. Um, that's what we call a special operation. Special operation, and get all the Russians to the front line and let them be butchered, right? Yeah. Why would you Russians take part in that? I don't understand it. Why would you let one of these satanic leaders, and again, it's not only Putin, we have a lot of Satanists in the West for sure as well, in the top. They're all Satanists in the top, and bowing down to the great stinking Antichrist in Rome, 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 you bow down the bloody stream. Coffee. Anyway, so yeah, that's why would you go to war? Why would you take part in this bullshit? Do whatever you can to get out of it and away from it. If I was a Ukrainian or Russian, I would see into, I was looking to although I'm, I have all my health issues and all that, right? So who knows what I would have, but you people that have your health and are strong and all that and all that, why would you take part? Why would you be forced into this, right? Just get out, if you just move out, just get out of the way, don't be called in by this, and in regards of Ukrainian, I wouldn't fight you for Ukrainians either, Why would I take up a gun and go out and kill other people made in the image of the gods, Oh, they're Russians, so what, If anything, the Russians need the good news of Jesus Christ, Maybe we should make a table for tea and coffee and tell them about Jesus, They clearly need him, right? They clearly have the wrong version of Jesus in regards of orthodoxy, and all that. And all their images and icons and statues and whatnot and all that, just for the burning and get rid of that nonsense, And what was the Orthodox guy saying? That if they went to war and all that, they would get this and that, and give me a break. Give me a break. Did Jesus tell us to pick up the sword and go out and kill people for the name of Christ? No, he didn't. Isn't that interesting? What did Christ tell us to do? Go out and preach the good news. Yeah, that's a kind of a difference between those two, isn't there? I think there is. Like we have 1.8 billion Mohammedans, right? Who needs the truth. Now, it can be very, when you are in a deception, in a satanic deception and a lie. And it's not only the Mohammedans, it's also the Western people and the Russian people, and it's people all over. The devilish lies have many variations, and it's the broad way that leads to destruction. And in the Western world, we have, all these bullshit traditions of Christ Mass and Easter and the pagan New Year and what is it called? Halloween and Valentine's Days, and I think this Black Knight selling thing is also another pagan bullshit thing that leads back to some pagan roots, but I can't remember. But anyway, it's all pagan bullshit on a Roman pagan satanic sun calendar. Why are people so unwilling to learn the truth? I don't understand that. I live in a world where people love the lies and the deceptions. Even if they know that all these things are pagan, people will do it anyway. They will take part in the deceptions and the lies and deceive the children. I just gotta be kidding me, I just keeps on going and going and going. Yeah. When are people going to wake up? That's a good question. Apparently, we're not going to wake up. Apparently, we're just going to continue with the bullshit. That's just it doesn't seem to be any move for the truth. When Martin Luther came around, there was many others. There was like an environment that was ripe for a move in that direction, and nowadays it's just ripe for the other way. We just want to get into another dark age, apparently. With all the technology we have and all that, and television and computing and all that, we are so ignorant. We are filling ourselves up with bullshit and more bullshit and more bullshit and more bullshit and more bullshit. That's how it is. It's sickening. And people will run away from the truth. It's a sick world. I know, personally, I'm sick and tired of life. I guess I became one of those that, in some sense, is dead before I'm dying, right? In some sense, it's just so much. It's so much disgusting filth that is in the world, and it's everywhere. We have, our own Holocaust. In the West, we have so many Holocausts of children. We murder our children, and we think it's a human right. But of course, the Roman Catholics wants us, the so-called Protestants, or what is left of Protestantism, to kill our children. Of course, they want us to kill our children. They have been warring against the Protestants for hundreds and hundreds of years in regard to truth, because Roman Catholics are the children of the devil. It's the masterpiece of the devil, calling themselves Christians. They are not. They are the devil's children. This is the devil's masterpiece of a deception, a wicked system beyond anything else. And yet, we don't know about it. We don't know about it. Anyway. So, yeah. So anyway, I've been working on my slim client that runs 3 to 7 watts. So maybe I can have an off-grid, although it probably won't be totally, it won't be much that you can actually, oh, by the way, I ruined this one apparently. Well, it's still working, I just need to fix it, I guess. This is a USB, apparently I made a smaller USB out of it, although probably not a good idea. Oh, wait, we need to change something in the BIOS. Oh, that's the typical thing in regards to all the nonsense of different features and things not being backward compatible. When you make a new technology, you don't fix you don't fix it you fix backward compatibility. But no, they don't want to do that. It'll be too bad, too problematic to fix backward compatibility. Like a lot of these, remember when I tried to get on Android. Well, I got a new mobile and they fixed Android 10, right? And I tried to get that up and going and all that, and I'll see if we can maybe see what is going on in regards to this little slim. Apparently the cord is fixed to this metal thing, and apparently this plastic ended up, because I was pulling the plastic, it ended up being pulled off. Or maybe I need to turn it around like this. No, that doesn't seem to be right. How does it actually? Okay, I think we have it. Can I? No. So apparently you can end up pulling it apart. If you don't pull the metal thing, or if you don't pull this one is fixed to the metal, but the plastic apparently that actually has like, so you should be able to pull it off, but clearly clearly it's not stuck so good. So let's see here if we can pull it like that. Yeah, I don't know why it should be able to get further, and it has a little problem to actually. Yeah. Apparently it doesn't wanna. I don't know why. Uh-oh. There we go. So, oh yeah. So yeah, it's just disgusting, you know. I really don't know what to really. I don't. Well, why do we have the other one? Let's see if in regards. So this is the other one that is actually fixed, right? So let's see here how it is. Yeah, it's not down. It's the right way, I think. Yep. So it's the right way of putting it, but apparently it's not clicking in. Well, it should click in. So that was apparently pretty easy to. We've been pretty satisfied with these small USB things. But apparently now this time it broke. Apparently it's not. Well, that's typical, right? Make things so they don't last, right? It's incredible how they design things to be able to break and be problematic and all that. So, but yeah, it should it should be able to click in, but clearly maybe if I push anymore, I think it, but it is seemingly what it should be, right? So I should just be able to push it into its place. But apparently it's kind of stuck. It needs a millimeter more, or a little more than a millimeter, 1.2 maybe. So but clearly it's not that easy to get it to want to do the last bit. I wonder if it never was. Well, must have been. Well, whatever the case. But these are like 16 gigabytes, and have been pretty good. I was looking into that maybe there was some others that actually had but again they purposely make USB pins very bad in the minor section of small files. So that's very sad to see. So anyway, I should be able to put it in the computer now. Yeah, at least it seems to be, able to put in the computer. I don't know how to, again, how much force can I put in before it actually, but maybe, yeah, of course you can always use a tool, right? Oh, wait. So I've been at it with this slim client thing, and pretty much gotten Windows 7 installed, fully installed with the newest drivers and all that. And that's how I feel about Megasocks. There is a kind of an issue with Android in regards to drivers and all that I haven't been able to sort out. There is a system. There's a 32-bit system that is also WES 7, which works, but WES 32 doesn't work out of the box in regards to vanilla, in regards to this, and it doesn't work in the 64-bit version. So I don't know what is wrong, but it's problematic. Something is clearly wrong, but I just don't know what is wrong. I haven't been able to fix it. Well, I've been able to fix so it actually can connect to the mobile and see the files and all that, but still there's clearly something wrong. But in any case, I haven't been able to sort it out, and I guess that's just how it is. Yeah, but my home premium key didn't work on the Slim client, and apparently I found out that this key that I found that I thought was unique is apparently not unique. This code that I found from the Slim client is the same code all over with these Slim clients. So I guess the code is just fixed to this, apparently. I don't know if there's other systems that you can use this code for. The ones that I tried didn't succeed besides WES 32 and 64. But yeah, okay. So I found a Linux version, which also are pretty near close to Windows 2000 in its setup. Although the graphic doesn't really, but it's very close to how Windows 2000 was working, and the menu and all that. It has some graphical issues in the beginning, and there's so much nonsense installed in it that I would absolutely just throw off. But yeah, it looks pretty good if one wanted to. And it's a system that you can run from a USB, and it's running pretty good, even with these USBs that are not made for smaller files, which is very annoying. But yeah, I was looking into some of these USBs, although I'm not able to buy anything from the internet at the moment because of the number 666 and this system of the world that will force people out that do not want to go along with all the disgusting satanic filth. And apparently the banksters and all that, and all the banksters and those underlings and all that apparently love doing all these criminal acts against the people. I guess you just have to be a Satanist, and then you can just go and take what category you want to go in and commit evil, If you want to be a murderer, you become a doctor. If you want to, commit to usury and false banking, you just become a banker, and so forward it goes, right? You can pick your profession of evil and take the direction you want to do. If you want to, gaslight the people or whatever it's called, you can take your different professions and then you just can begin to do evil. So, what was I thinking about in regards of doing? Okay, yeah. So maybe I should just try to go into Windows 2000. I have two systems with Windows 2000, and I'm still trying to update drivers and all that to the very furthest level. Yesterday I got somewhat of a graphic driver fixed. But I don't know what the difference is between the two. I installed one on the one system I have, and I installed the other on the other system. And I don't really know what the difference is. Both of them seem to work. This is like emulating some kind of graphics so you can run higher resolutions. So the graphic drivers are not installed. The main graphic drivers, I haven't been able to install those, but I was able to install these other kind of drivers which are working, so you don't run 640 times 480. Oh yeah, by the way, can you move this? yeah, you could actually move it in the in the Windows 2000 in regards of showing desktop. I couldn't remember there was a show desktop in the Windows 2000. I don't know if it was something that was added later on or if it actually was there from the beginning, but it could be interesting to look into some of the former versions of Windows 2000 and see if show desktop was there from the beginning, because I can't remember. And it's exactly where this Linux guy put it, that made this absolute Linux. And I was asking him to actually put it over to the side, not realizing that Windows 2000 as well had this feature. And I just don't recall or remember. Anyway, so we're now in Windows 2000 at the moment on my Slim client. And I'll just scan for drivers and see, well, it's apparently has... The last scan has 11 updates, so that's the problem is with this driver max is that I can only update 2 drivers a day and 10 drivers a month or something like that. So, but it's pretty, even if it's free when you do, and that's pretty nice, So I'm not going to, what do you call it, complain about how they do it. I think it's okay, it's how they do it, and it's still been pretty helpful to update drivers on my computer. So can't really, so we have standard dual channel PCR controller. Some of the drivers don't want to be installed. And of course, there's the keyboard issue as well. Okay, no. Apparently, I can't install any drivers at the moment. It's still locked in this version anyway. And let's look that down, and I'll open the other one. But of course, the problem with Windows 2000 and getting drivers and all that is that a lot fewer programs in regards to drivers are working. Now in Windows 2000 I tried a multitude of different driver applications which can run on Windows 7. So you have, I had 2 programs that mainly I used for getting drivers and all that, but there are many others that you can do and try to see if they find something that you haven't found with the others and this and that, and you can get some variations for sure in regards of, and then some can upgrade this for free and some can upgrade that for free, and then you little by little you get closer to it takes some time, right? But you're moving forward and you're getting more and more things updated on the system. So, and I also have this updating collection of updates, which apparently made my one Windows 2000 crash. I first had the first 30 gigabytes downloaded by a torrent, and then I used that, and there was no problems even if it fails on some. But then I updated this 30 gigabytes to apparently 33 gigabyte of updates. So apparently the one you downloaded already was totally old. So I don't think it makes any sense to download the torrent file if you're going to re-download all the updates anyway. So if there's a way to just download the application and then have it update afterwards, that would probably be the better choice. So you don't need to download like 63 gigabytes, and of course I also had a failure, so it's probably 100 gigabyte that needs to go through the network, and of course just totally unneeded. I also tried to install something called Driver Booster on Windows 2000, but I don't know why, but it doesn't want to scan. It goes into you're running an unofficial Driver Booster and then it just closes down. But it works on Windows 7, but apparently on Windows 2000 it fails. I don't know if they are more strict in regards to Windows 2000 to get drivers to it or what, but it's free on Windows 7. It also says Driver Booster 10 free, right? And then it goes into activate. You're running an unofficial driver booster. It may not only slow down, even crash your PC, but blah 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 blah. And then it wants you to sort out the internet to get a free thing apparently. Which of course the internet has its issues. Because there's no browser that is, so. I don't know why Driver Booster would be working on Windows 7 and then have issues, for a free version in the beginning and then make issues. So maybe it already have registered me on the IP address on Windows 7 or something like that. Or maybe that's just something that, I don't know. I could try to install it on the other version I have as well. I see a driver booster. Let's scan for updates on this other. So yeah, I have two versions, and I'm getting blocked up in my nose. But anyway, I have two versions of Windows 2000, because if one break, I have the other. So I'm working on both, and I'm blocked in the nose. It's very annoying. I'm speaking too much. How long have I been speaking? Well, yeah. Yeah, when you speak all the time, I end up getting blocked behind the nose. And it doesn't take so long to actually remove it when I don't speak. So, but okay, here we have the USB platform control SM bus. We have some kind of USB question mark, which we can try to update. No, at the moment apparently I'm still locked out of that application. So I'll just have to wait a little further on Driver Max. But yeah, again, 2 drivers a day, and then you can, little by little get there. And of course, if you have other applications that also can update, then it's pretty good, right? Yeah, I think I'll see if I can actually download Driver Booster again and try to install it on the other system I have. Most likely it will still have its issues. I think I'll try to take the internet out and see if that works. Maybe it connects to the internet to try to, gather information that it already has been installed on another system or something like that. Or maybe it just doesn't, maybe they don't want you to use it for Windows 2000 because that's, that's more technical or something like that. Of course, I can't buy anything on the internet anyway. So it's kind of impossible for me to really, even if I wanted to buy it, and of course in regards to resources, I don't have the resources anyway either. So I can't buy on the internet anymore, and I don't have the resources to do it either. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation all around. But I do have a little time to try to get around things and all that. The Visa VPE display driver build is what I've installed on both of them. It doesn't run the 3D, but it does run the 2D, which is enough to run the system in high resolutions, which is what we want, right? It's much better than at least to run in lower resolution. So I can I'm not going to play any games anyway, so of course it could be interesting to try to see if we could get the graphics, because you can use the graphics apparently also for Google Earth, which is installed on this version of Windows 2000. Anyway, let's search for, what was it called? Driver something? I can't even remember the name of it. Oh my. What was it called? Driver tin or something like that. Or something in regards of tin at least. So let's see here. Driver. I think I have it installed here, don't I? No, driver update 10. I have the virtual keyboard here. Oh, okay, it didn't work. Typical. What is it doing? The typical nonsense of where the computer does things that you're not telling it. No. I can't see it. Just give me a couple of minutes. I'll just remove the oh, I took the wrong one. I think I got pretty much unblocked. That's pretty much. It's terrible when you speak too much. The slime ends up, or the mucus or whatever, it ends up blocking you. It's when I talk like around 20 minutes in one stream. If there's no breaks, I can speak for hours and hours, like 10 hours. I have a video that is nearly 10 hours on Christ Mass and all the insanity and all that, but with other people also speaking in the, following the video, right? And didn't have any problem with that. But when you speak like 20 minutes in a row, around 20 minutes in a row, the body apparently doesn't have enough time to remove the mucus or whatever, the slime. Okay, so I've downloaded it, and apparently I have Driver Booster, another version here. It's a little smaller. I'm going to install this version of Driver Booster and see if it actually works on this other Windows 2000 version. just to this is the downloaded directly from their website, so it should work. The thing is that it doesn't crash in Windows 2000. It actually installs on Windows 2000, and it should actually work compared to a lot of the others which doesn't want to work. Also, some of the things that works on Windows 7, you still have to install some things on into Windows 7 to actually make them work in regards of some of these dependencies, I guess it's called. These nonsense dependencies that it needs to be able to run. Everything a program needs should be in its own folder, including in regards to the user files. Everything should be in the folder, and it should be portable. You should be able to copy it from one computer to another computer with ease, without any issues. You should also be able to copy like things to a boot thing and have it bootable at the very instant. Although Absolute Linux have a live version that is nearly perfect in this behalf. You actually just copy the files over, you push one single file, and whoopty, you have a bootable USB. But it really shouldn't be that hard to do. But computing has been made hard on so many levels. Okay, let's try to push the scan now and see what it does. If it doesn't wanna scan to check the system. No, you're running an unofficial driver booster. It may only slow down, even crash your PC, but also cause vulnerability to endanger your PC. Get the official driver booster now to enjoy a stable and smooth PC. Also, it actually is, the problem is that you're running an unofficial driver booster. So it's actually saying that I'm not running an official version of driver booster. Interesting. So it's actually not because it wouldn't essentially work, it's because I'm running Windows 2000 and thereby, so you're running an unofficial driver booster. Unofficial. Something that isn't official. So what? Give me a break. Of course I'm not, but why would it be concerned about that, right? Anyway, So I'm not allowed to apparently to do a scan. Apparently. I'm not even, that's like this key thing, but I guess I can't even put the key in if it's not really a problem in regards of a key. It's because it just thinks apparently that this is an unofficial. But then it goes on, click get code to win Driver Booster Pro for free. But yeah, it kind of doesn't do me any good, because I can't use. Okay, so that's a no-go apparently. So it doesn't matter if we have the internet in either way, because it won't work on Windows 2000. Driver Max is one of the few that actually does work on Windows 2000 and has updated a couple of the updates. In one Windows 2000 version, I have only 4 updates left, although some of the updates it fails in regards of installation, but at least it's working in regards of the ability to actually be usable. Many of the others, I did have a huge list of different applications that I deleted because I just found the best ones, and I probably shouldn't have done that because I could have tried to actually run all of them. I do have some of them, but I tried to install them on. I think we have them over here in the drivers apps after installation in regards to Windows 7, right? Well, we have Driver Easy and Driver Max, and Driver Easy needs some kind of dependency This program does not support the version of Windows your PC is running or computer is running. I did have another folder somewhere with other upgradable, apparently not on this, apparently. But anyway, so driver booster is out the window. We can delete those. Oh yeah, we also have 3D Mark III, but why did I? Of course, that's not going to work with Windows 2000. I don't know why I would have put it over here. We can try to install it, I guess, on Windows 2000. I guess it actually should work in regards of installing, but it shouldn't work because there's no 3D drivers installed. I have the chipset drivers, the network drivers, the graphic drivers, and the audio drivers in those 4 folders, trying to sort out things, but it's kind of not. Haven't had much. Yeah, it's not really. And the graphic drivers, of course, the standard graphic drivers hasn't really been successful either. So I'm still struggling with this graphic thing, but it's it's at least a lot better than it was. I can run very high resolutions, way above what I need. Actually, I would have liked to actually just run 800 times 600, which is actually not very much. But that seems to be pretty good as well to not run any further. But some applications just fills the whole screen when you do that. So 1024 times 768 seems to be the sweet spot. So that's where it is. But yeah, you could actually run 800 times 600 without actually being pretty good, So let's make a folder here, paste this. But yeah, it's working pretty good on Windows 2000. Again, I will continue to update it and try to get as close as I can to a system that is actually working. Now, there's another way, of course, of doing it and installing it on some kind of Linux. But yeah, this is not the way that I've done it here. I was thinking about, but everything takes brain power and time to sort out, and I don't know if it's going to be layered on a Linux. That's probably not the best thing, probably not. Also, the graphic drivers is not sorted. It would be nice to have the main drivers. Of course, they also say that that's the best thing, but this is like a absolutely a great secondary choice to have working. I'm just pretty happy that I can run higher resolutions now. So, of course, if you get a bigger screen, the resolution will in then some sense also be, bigger, right? If you have a bigger screen, and the screen that I have that is the most, in regards to power consumption, is actually also a little bigger. Although I'm looking into something that doesn't use too much power overall. So everything takes time, So anyway, driver booster did not work apparently on Windows 2000. We have the 3D Mark we can now try to run, but I'm pretty sure it won't do much. Hardware does not support binary texture filtering. 3D Mark 3D will not run. So 3D doesn't work on this, That's fine. It doesn't work. Wouldn't expect it to work with these drivers. But these drivers do work in regards to the 2D. And that makes you able to at least have a higher resolution in Windows. So I'll have to sort out if I can if there's any way to actually get the standard drivers to work on this. But I will need some technical help from those people that actually knows things of that nature. I also only have one processor shown compared to two, and Windows 2000 should be able to show two processors, and yet I only have one processor. And of course, this Slim client actually do have two processors, two kernels, but it's only using one at the moment. It's running fine with one kernel. That's not that it's bad, but of course I would like to actually have it use both of them. That will be double the power, which would be totally totally like madness in regards to a Windows 2 system, really, to have all that power behind the helmet. So but yeah, oh yeah, I need to test the portable applications as well on the Slim. Maybe I should actually maybe I should look into moving the now copy I have and move it over and see if the applications are working on the Windows 2000. Of course, if I can actually have applications that work on Windows 2000 and Windows 7, that's kind of a win-win situation. I might need to go back in regards of version number and all that, which of course will take a little time to further look into. But yeah, in regards to version number anyway, usually you might get some more features and all that, right? But usually it's not a biggie. Why is it fixed to it's fixing its lining? Okay, auto arrange. Okay, we'll just, there we go. Apparently it was auto arranging the icons here. It's very smooth, Windows 2000. It does really seem to do a pretty good job. Settings, control panel, things are like, many of the things are like how I want them, right? Just very wonderful. I do wonder if I actually put that, and that's like a thing down here. Okay, I don't know. Okay, the machine is thinking, I guess. That's a small hang-ups here and there. I'm not sure if it's, yeah, I guess it's having some issues at the moment. I'll see if it gets around or if I crashed it. It looks like I crashed it, but we'll give it a little time. It might just be working. Of course, I crashed the system in regards to blue screen 2 times at least. Installing drivers. That was not so good, but that's just how it is. Okay, let's see here. West terminal. It still doesn't show the chipset or the AAC. What's that? Oh, there we go. Apparently, it was just having having a hiccup apparently when I wanted to go into control panel. Maybe that's something it needed to fix in regards of. Oh, here we go with added remove. No, that's not it. Added remove app programs. There we go. And what do we have? We have a lot of things that are installed in the version that. With driver booster, let's just. I don't think there's any way to run it on Windows 2000 apparently. As properties, could I run it like? Well, there's an application where you can run applications like on. But I don't know how. I haven't looked into that yet. Maybe that would make some of the applications work and all that, so maybe I shouldn't. There's a lot of hack the planet things. We apparently also have Windows Media Player 10. Yeah, okay. Now let's just have it as it is. I might crash the system at some point, and then everything needs to be redone pretty much. Yeah. I also wanted to check in regard to that feature as well, but that means I need to install Windows 7 in another mode and see if that actually works. Let's see here. Maybe I should fix it so I can pretty much get a break from. I'll just take a break from. Let's see here. Well, that's the number 3. That should be number 2. That's a newer version as well on Absolute Linux that I would like to try. I could always try that afterwards in regard to trying. Maybe, I don't know. But there's a BIOS setting that, you know, if I can do it like that, I have less of things to set up in the BIOS, that would be wonderful. So I don't need to go into the BIOS all the time, although I guess it's needed clearly some of the times to do that. But there's a feature in regards of a hard drive feature which I don't think does much of a difference really. But I guess it might maybe on maybe faster systems or so, I don't know. But I don't know. Of course, there's 2 options. Either find the drivers for Windows 2000 so I could run the AHCI, but that would mean I would need a A drive to test that out and to sort that out and all that. That's one way. If I could get Windows 2000 to do that, then I wouldn't need so much to change that in the BIOS, because it's primary Windows 2000 that is the issue on that, because Linux seems to doesn't care if it's either way. So yeah, here we have Absolute Linux, the older version, and he's just released a new version of it. I don't know in regards to the live thing if he's going to release a new live image, but he has released like a new installation. Would look forward to see his live his live thing as well. So I can see if the graphic glitch is still there. Then I can write to him about it. I guess it's not a biggie thing, because the graphic glitch sorts itself out. But it would be nice to sort out. Okay, so let's see audio. Well, why is audio disabled, by the way? Enable. Okay. Apparently that was audio. Apparently was set to disable. Oh, that would actually be interesting to actually check on Windows 7 if I then can't get audio from it. Well, anyway, boot from USB, blah 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 blah, legacy and all that. Yeah. Okay. So escape. I don't know. There's an option for the video graphic thing where you can actually where you can actually what is it called, where you can actually where you can actually set how many RAM is dedicated to the graphics. And you can actually set it to 64 or 64, 128, 256, and 512. I think it's the last one. But you can't set it. Even if you push the 512, it doesn't wanna do it. So the setting is there, and yet you can't do it. I just give me a break. That's the thing. I have 16 gigabyte of RAM. I have more than enough to share more, for the graphic if it's needed. I guess maybe it's not even needed, Maybe it's because it's it's a slow device, but if it would be needed, at least I could maybe have tested it out. I guess I can still test out if the graphics sharing actually does a difference. I can just take one of these graphical applications and just go into the BIOS. Actually, that could actually be interesting. I could actually I could do that. I could actually just take the, wait, let's try it out. I could actually take the Windows 7 I have and see if there's any. I have a 3D Mark 2003 if I recall correctly, and let's try to. But of course, maybe newer versions of 3D Mark would be better, but I didn't have the. Apparently, I didn't have the media installed or something like that. It at least had some issues with it. Maybe it's because it's the West 7. Okay, let's put that to ASI and this for enable and just and just fix the aperture size to the lowest. Well, actually 128 is the okay. But maybe that's could make a difference in regards of. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it doesn't do any difference. Maybe that's 128 or 256. I'll just set it to the maximum anyway because there's no I have too much RAM anyway in this machine, so it doesn't matter. Even if it would be maybe wasted, but it doesn't do anything because I'm never going to fill 16 gigabyte of RAM as using this because the processor is not powerful enough. So okay, let's see if we can find the benchmark 2003 future mark. There we go, 2003. Again, maybe I need the later ones to actually see a difference. Who knows? Because this is pretty near, easy to run. Anyway, okay, so the options I will need to go through. I'll try to install Windows 7 in IDE mode, and then have some benchmark between them at some point and see if there's any difference. And if there's no difference, I could really just put it on IDE. That's one option in regards to Windows 2000. Of course, if I could, which maybe I should look into, if I can actually get Windows 2000 to run if I can get the drivers to work out in the beginning and install the drivers, then of course that could be an interesting thing to do, to just install it with those, right? But at the moment it's I'm not sure what it's doing. It's seemingly just showing the 3D Mark. I'm still waiting for it to load. Oh, there we go. Oh, that took a long time. Let's see, save and okay, close. I guess, it's had to, just wait a little to just have the system wake up in some sense. It's not the fastest and all that. I was looking into this hyper threading thing and all that, and as far as I understood, this CPU should actually be able to do hyper threading. And I'm like, okay, but looking into hyper threading and regards to the technology and all that, it doesn't really matter much as far as I can see. We have two CPUs in this little unit, and of course the hyper threading is just dividing the two CPUs into two more. So we would have 4 kernels, right, running, because it's divide them up. But in regards of really being a biggie difference, might actually not be at all. So anyway, we're going to run the benchmark test of 2003. Of course, that's actually not that heavy for the system, even if it's 2003. It's actually running pretty good in regards to the drivers. Actually, the graphics are actually doing pretty well with this older 2003 thing. The graphics are pretty good compared to a lot of other things from that time. So it's actually pretty nailing this 2003. So maybe I should use a edition that is. The problem is those other editions used media player instead of. I guess you can just use it without media player, and that's how it is, right? So I guess it's not a biggie, but it does pretty well with the 2003 version. And of course, I guess the problem also with the 2003 version is that it's only running 1024 times 768. You need a license to run it in a bigger resolution. And of course, if you just ran the 2003 in a bigger resolution, that would actually maybe make a further dent in it, of course, and maybe also use more of the dedicated memory. Maybe I don't know if the graphic thing has its own thing. I don't think so. I just think it used the RAM. But who knows? So anyway, we can close this one down, and I also need to look on. Oh, what was that? Oh yeah. I was also looking into these USB things, but the problem is with many of these USB things is that on the lower level, they want to focus on the higher level files, the big files and all that, but that's not really the place where you want to see the lower level files, and that's where the problems are. Which many times it is, right? So I guess it's really, all these small minor testings and this and that is really just, minor things, but of course, the more I can get out of this little computer, the better, right? And the less issues one have and this and that. It will be my main, although I won't have. Oh, in the winter time I won't have any energy to actually have it running, but in the spring and the fall and the summer I should get enough energy to at least run it sometimes. Couple of hours here and there, and then I will have to do other things, which I have lots of other things to do anyway, so it's not a biggie. Lots of papers, lots of other things that needs to be. There's always things to do, So I'm just trying to get to a level of the slim client. So, but yeah, anyway, let's see here. Russia doubles down on ineffective tactics, then bans critics.
By Russia to create some sort of encirclement around Avdiivka. Of course, they need to actually flip some territory to make this happen, and they're burning a lot of men and material to do it. The other problem, of course, with Avdiivka is that it actually has a number of exfil routes that will be tough for Russia to control. One is due west here at Avdiivka. You can see here, you now see this main thoroughfare along the rail line. Unless Russia can get a hold of this, it's going to have a tough time of things, right? You can also see there's a number of other roads that Ukrainian forces to get resupplies into the defending forces around the city. Then, of course, but you can see they're trying to attack from multiple directions. And I've talked about the failure of mass, the failure of concentration of forces for Russia. I think, honestly, a big part of it is that these forces cannot be concentrated more because Ukrainian artillery and Ukrainian drones will spot them. You can't assemble into large groups
Nearly.
because they will get those formations will say forcibly dispersed by Ukrainian artillery. The issue then is how do you conduct attacks doing that. Now, there's ways to do it. A good military, with a high level of command and control, can disperse its forces and have them come together as the attack happens. But this is these 3 attacks across 3 villages, not really part of any sort of coordinated effort. But what I think we're definitely seeing, I'm pretty confident we can say that Russia or the DNR, LNR, whoever is in charge of this operation, is trying to effect an encirclement. They just need to be a little better with how they deploy their troops. And then, of course, the Wagner group probably here still sort of putzing around in Bakhmut. And whoever's running this fight between Bakhmut and Belogorivka, I don't know if anyone is, honestly. This looks like 3 commanders, 3 villages, each doing their own thing. But let's talk about what Russia is doing about this terrible strategy. Well, the answer is, instead of actually fixing their core problems, they are just going to silence their critics. There is a bill working its way through the Duma, the Russian House, that would regulate social media networks, online cinemas, search engines, and internet marketplaces that would require the owners of all sites and platforms to ensure the government's ability to fully or partially block the participation of specific users. And that these provisions appeared, of course, before the beginning of the war to specifically target Western outlets like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube due to the risk of social conflict. This is actually the exact same tool used by, well, actually, as I think about it, kind of every government, certainly in China, and certainly
In the Western world.
States that want to see these platforms regulated.
Yeah.
Believe
They have the power to regulate and book censor and put you in jail for over 400 days on Facebook if you do not follow their guidelines. Oh, really? That's bullshit.
government's ability to show people news that the government doesn't like is at risk of creating social conflict.
Yeah, the people should always be able to speak their mind, right? But no.
Right?
If you speak against the government, it's a big no-no, apparently.
They think the Russian bloggers are lauding it because they think this recommender algorithm is going to make it harder for nations to spread propaganda. One of the common conspiracy theories is that all Western outlets operate like Russian outlets, where they are beholden to and backed by the state, when in fact, a lot of times these platforms are not actually pushing a pro-state agenda or are governed by the state. You can see.
Oh, wait. They're not? So they're not censoring people that have another opinion and not promoting their garbage and all that? Oh, okay.
Right, you had I'm trying to think of the way to put this nicely. Basically, the U.S. had the Republican Party in power, and Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube spared no expense to just skew against those search results for some of the more right-wing, especially their favorite pet causes around, identity politicking and stuff. But so it's fairly clear.
Okay, so what we got a result in regards to 3D Mark was 5,319, right? I don't think that really will change in regard if I push it up to more megabyte in the BIOS. Probably won't do anything, but I'll save it and I'll just close it down and fix the BIOS and give it 128 megabyte more. But it probably will, you probably will need to run some higher resolutions, I would think, so it needs more megabyte in the RAM. 1024 doesn't seem to be that much, Anyway, I don't know how it works and all that. It's hard to see how much when you don't have any stats on it. But what I can do is just go into the BIOS, aperture size, memory allocated to the VGA, and apparently it cannot, you can't run to 5. There's an option for 512 megabyte, and yet it just doesn't want to go. But maybe it doesn't matter anyway. Maybe 256 is just way beyond what it really needs in any level. Anyway, I don't know, but sure, if in regards to, if one wanted to run old games and all that, it should be more than able to do that on Windows 7, I guess. Of course, I haven't further tried things off, but it should be more than capable of running things of old nature. Anyway, let's try to run the 2003 benchmark again. I also have the Nova bench that actually could maybe benchmark the. I didn't run it on, but anyway, maybe, let's just see if. I guess why am I even doing it, right? Because it's just, it seems a little wasted. It seems to be, small things here and there, right? It's just, yeah. Okay. And I guess, it is small things as well in regards to the hard drive thing. I don't think there will be much of a difference running one or the other. So in regards to compatibility, it might be easier to just run the older standard compared to the newer standard, because there might not be much of a difference.
COVID misinformation. Again, these platforms work really hard to quash COVID misinformation, or rather, they didn't
Misinformation. Oh, it's misinformation.
work as hard as they could.
Misinformation. Yeah, because these people didn't agree with the vaccines and the experimental nonsense and all that. So we'll just yeah.
It was still able to pervade across these platforms, despite the government's absolute insistence that they stop. So the idea, but in Russia, people just believe that these.
So what you're saying is that people are not allowed to have another opinion in regards to COVID and vaccines and all that. They have to concur, or whatever it is called, to the government, right? We didn't want to talk about health, nutrition, and all that. That's only the vaccines, right? Anyway. Of course, YouTube did the same thing, censoring.
But what's also interesting is that the FSB has also created a decree that created a list of military technical activities, which, if received by foreign sources,
Anyone trusting their own government has to, be blasted in the brain in some sense. You gotta be kidding me. Why would anyone trust their own government? Governments all over the world went into this holocaust of snake oil, pushing it on all people. Oh, and then people will say, oh, but you had a choice, right? What? So many were coerced into getting this bullshit, because if they didn't get it, they would lose their job. If people didn't get a Nazi passport, they couldn't go to, for example, a swimming hall and other training places, because exercise apparently is just something we get way too much of, or something. It's like, we have known for years and years that Danish people don't get enough of exercise, that exercise is a good thing too. And then they close all the places down for people, and they will say it's because of your health. We're protecting you. You gotta be kidding me. It's bullshit. Doing the exact opposite in regards of health, and then claiming it is for the betterment of health, What other bullshit. Of course, this video might then be censored as well from YouTube, and because of this, I said something of, on those things.
moral and psychological climate of Russian troops. Guys, if you've been on this channel for any length of time, you know that's basically all we talk about at this point, given that it's a constant thorn in Russia's side. And this would ban a wide range of information covered by Russian military on.
Yeah, why am I even looking at it, One side tried to, oh, they're so evil and bad, and yet, instead of looking at, no, but they did this and that, but that was, actually a good thing, but give me a break, And just, trying to defend what the West did in against the Corona and all that, right? And just, gonna be kidding me.
With this amount of extra time on my hands and an increased urge to try silly ideas, today we're going to find out. So although you probably shouldn't, you can turn off hyperthreading in the BIOS with a couple of clicks. In Cinebench R20 you can see the immediate effect this has on CPU performance. Doing day-to-day normal computery things doesn't feel any less quick, and Windows 10 will still feel snappy enough. But gaming is a different story. Let's start with the game that was impacted the most by a lack of hyperthreading, GTA 5. With hyperthreading enabled, we were seeing a few stutters here and there, though the game became, and I don't use this term very often, unplayable. The freezes here were just too much to bear. Here's a quick clip.
Hmm.
In contrast to GTA 5, we have CSGO, which although did suffer frame rate wise, didn't exhibit too many stutters, and on the surface was still playable. It's not perfect, but it was far from a PowerPoint presentation, which is always a bonus. As usual, the footage is from a bot match for convenience sake, but the figures were taken from a combination of 3 online games. Going into Red Dead Redemption 2, and I was certain the game wouldn't launch. It's always crashed every time I've tried running it on a 2-core, 2-threaded CPU, but in this case it seemed to fire up just fine. It even ran better than GTA 5 as far as the percentile figures were concerned. Red Dead does tend to be quite lenient on processors with fewer cores though 2 threads will mean less than 30 FPS on average. Finally, it's Fortnite. This gave our processor some trouble regardless of hyperthreading, though the figures were once again reduced when turning it off. Now don't get me wrong, this won't be the case with all processors. If you turn off hyperthreading or on AMD CPUs simultaneous multi-threading with more powerful and newer chips with far higher core counts, the differences will likely be less noticeable. But for anyone out there, my guess would be about 6 people who are wondering about what would happen if we turned off hyperthreading on an i3-4130. Well, I hope I've answered your question. Now this wasn't all for nothing, it wasn't just a bit of a laugh, because I have had a couple of questions in the past regarding processors performing not as well as they should, and in those instances it turns out that they had purchased pre-built with hyperthreading that had been turned off in the BIOS, so maybe that's something to look out for if you buy a second-hand PC and the processor isn't performing quite as well as you thought it should. But as for this video, well, I hope you've enjoyed it. Leave a like on it if you did, leave a dislike if you didn't, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hopefully in the next one we'll be taking a look at an Alienware 670 or putting together a COD Warzone minimum requirements build.
Well, interesting. Saw another test in regards of hyperthreading and not having hyperthreading, and that wasn't really one test actually had the non-hyperthreading win, and actually it won some of them, although it was very close and all that. But and then others, the hyperthreading was winning. But in any case, in regards of my Slim client, it has 2 processors. Of course, only one of the processors is apparently activated at the moment in Windows 2000, which of course I need to sort out. But the CPU should actually be able to do hyperthreading, but of course, out of the package, Windows 2000 only supports 2 kernels. So, and I can't really turn it on in the BIOS anyway, so I guess that's fine. That is still more than enough to really run Windows 2000. So I actually turned it on and off on my other computer to see if that was actually, I guess it's nice in regards to running the Windows Task Manager. You only have 4 CPUs now to look at, and you get some more information in regards to what is going on. It becomes a little easier to actually see what is going on with the CPUs compared to running with 8 small, and 8 small windows. Now I have 4 bigger windows, so Oh yeah, it's okay. But in regards of difference and all that, don't know. I haven't run any test on the CPU or whatever, and of course
Talk a
that.
whole lot about the problem itself. If you guys want to learn more about this very differently, but not anyway. An interesting thing though is with Time Spy, we saw the exact same percentage drop with hyperthreading on and off in both extreme and non-extreme. But what's interesting is that we did see a bigger reduction in normal versus extreme because of the lower resolution, higher frame rates, which of course the CPU can start to hold it back. But we saw in Time Spy, we actually saw the graphics score increase ever so slightly, like 60 points or something like that. Probably still within margin of error, but we did, of course, see the CPU drop on both of the distance tests because that is 100% CPU. Seems to be roughly around where Intel was saying the performance loss would be, 7% to 9%. Nowhere near the 40% that Apple is saying the performance loss would be. But we don't know what those testing parameters were. We don't have any details about whether 100K or 9700K, even high end, because gaming systems just, for the example of gaming, do not get hit that hard with hyper-threading, even on the multi-threaded stuff like Far Cry and Shadow of the Tomb Raider and all that sort of stuff. But again, it really depends on what you're doing with the computer. If you have tons of programs running, you have background tasks going, if you have VMs, all that sort of stuff, then obviously you want as much of the horsepower as you can possibly get. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I just wanted to kind of put this out there. If you were curious about what performance you'd lose if you turned off your hyper-threading on your Intel CPU, not as much as we initially thought, which really truly surprised me. So, alright guys, if you think
Yeah. Yeah, you don't lose much, and sometimes apparently you gain some. Apparently, according to some of the tests, you actually, when you run tests on some of them at least, you apparently have some winnings and you have some losses. Now you might have more losses with hyperthreading on than, so yeah, you might have more winnings with hyperthreading on than off, but clearly you also have some winnings on the other side, and
let's go ahead.
that's of course kind of interesting. And overall, you don't, if you lose something with having it off, it's not really that much, it seems. Anyway, you're still using the same CPU pretty much, and you just, instead of dividing the CPU, you just have the full kernel with its full speed, full whatever ability. So whatever. So, but yeah, that's different views.
And something while you're playing. All of that needs a thread. And so the 1300X has nothing to give, whereas the 1500X does. If you want to play Fortnite, you die with 4 threads, then it hitches when you jump back, whereas it doesn't hitch as much on the 1500X. It's really fine.
I don't know. Is he not even showing?
Shadow of the Tomb Raider, yeah, this needs a whole lot more CPU power. Look at the 1300X is of course pegged. Look at 1500X. It's not pegged 100% of the time, but it slams into 99% several times. You absolutely want a minimum of 8 threads if you want anything approaching smooth gameplay in this. And frankly, I personally would also consider 6 cores and 12 threads to be the minimum. We'll look at that in the next video.
Well, I guess maybe for modern things that you need more, instead of. Anyway, the benchmark is pretty much over, and in regards of the 128 megabyte compared to 256 megabyte, we see absolutely no difference. And again, if the graphic card are not using what is already, it, of course it wouldn't make a difference, but actually it gives a less result than what we had. So no difference on that level. Maybe if going up in resolution, making more data needed to be, then maybe we could get into some issues where the 256 megabyte might have a hit on the, but of course I could run the 2005 version of, try that. Of course I could also just I don't know, but yeah, not not a surprise. Anyway, let's just leave that for now, I guess. But yeah, we saw absolutely no difference in result. But again, it's running on lower resolution anyway. So what was it I wanted to do? Yeah, I guess I wanted to install a version of Windows with. See if it actually wanna install on an old IDE thing. Should do it. Shouldn't be any problems. And again, will there be any difference in regards of, if we run some benchmark afterwards on the drive, will we see any difference? And I think not. Disable this one, disable this, and let's see, escape, yep. But it would be interesting to see this Absolute Linux Live thing in the new version. So one could try it out. I don't know if he's going to release that. He released the installation, so why not make a live as well off that, So let's see if I can remember in regards to installing Windows 7. Well, we need some more coffee for sure. So Windows is loading files. Yeah, as usual. I do wonder in regards of, and I would also need, in regards of media player, I'll just have the media player as well, of course, installed, and see if I have any issues on that. Maybe it's in regards to the West 7, or maybe I uninstalled it. That's the two possibilities there. Can't really remember. So we have this one little here, this little thing here, which has two hard drives in it. Both of those have Windows 2000 on them. So that's why they are, for themselves on this level. So I can remember these are the Windows 2000. And again, knowing that I can break the system, or there's a possibility of breaking the system when updating drivers and all that. I have two installations, and I then try things out, and I also need to see if I can suck out the drivers. That is the newest versions and all that, and it's working and all that, so I can easily install those in the future, installing Windows 2000 on this little slim device. Okay, let's see here. We want and we want to see drivers. Well, we have Danish. Oh yeah, I need to fix the. Well, I guess I'll fix that at some point. But I need to fix the key into the installation. I thought the key was like original for my Slim client, but of course it's not apparently. This is a key that works over as long as it's for this device apparently. Okay, we have let's see, unmapped devices 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so. And what we're going to do is go into here and edit this folder before installation and say okay. And that should pretty much added all the drivers. That is 16 drivers added. Great. I don't think there's anything else that I would need to add. It has pretty much everything. It has the generic logic USB tree and the LG Android drivers. Which, by the way, in regards to that, in regards to installation, what was it I did? LD drivers down here. Compensate. Oh yeah, okay, I got it fixed. That's true. Okay, I did get it fixed. So when you install Windows 7, you should actually have everything. We have some inbox drivers in regards of HD thing and all that, and maybe if the mobile was connected, maybe it could actually, maybe it would say that there's some drivers actually. Let's try to actually do that and just put it over here and put it in there. let's just turn it off here. And of course that might be, it might make issues in regards of actually finding the hard drive, but we'll see. So we're going to run the SanDisk Cruiser Fit. But yeah, I was looking into these USB things and all that, and some of the tests just, didn't seem to be good. They focus on these higher speeds with big files, and then they forget the small files. Then some of these small USB keys clearly was doing better on the small levels than others, but one would then need to buy multiple of these and test them out. And then of course you have the issue actually also with the size of the USB might actually also have an impact on bigger USBs. Again, I remember the SSD and all that, and it was talking about this. The bigger the USB, the slower it became in regards of a smaller section and, well, overall, I guess. So you have a lot of things that needs to be taken into consideration, and that's just doesn't seem to be people actually doing tests in regards to these things. You have some tests in here and there, but you really need to look around, and it's just all these different nonsense tests that I really can't use for anything. It's like, yeah. Anyway, setup is starting, and we have the mobile connected to the machine, so maybe it will find it in the beginning. This installation has this way of actually figuring out what kinds of drivers it is missing at the beginning of the installation. So what you can do is added these drivers, which is very nice. It's very nice, because then of course what is needed. So, and I have been able to slipstream most of the things besides the audio drivers. So we will push this, edit this drive. Well, we don't see sadly we don't see we do see a VPD Media Transfer Protocol driver. Ooh, inbox driver. And this might be the one that is making problems for, well, that's in regards to the VP Media Transfer Protocol MTP driver in regards of the mobile. So it's showing up now. I don't think it was showing up last time. So that's the inbox driver. So we have the ACPI EINT33BD. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was the same thing that it has last time, right? And then you have the Windows Embedded Edition no, that's not it. We have the WPD Media Transfer Protocol that it has as an inbox driver. And I wonder, in regards to that inbox driver, that seems to be the one that has issues. So we have the HD audio, which is also had issues in regards of being one of the inbox drivers. If you do it if you make an installation without where you can't do things, it seems like it's ruining. Well, it is ruining apparently the inbox driver somehow. Windows Embedded Edition, you have ACPI, blah blah blah. You have a lot of different drivers here, but now you have the inbox driver, the VPD Media Transfer Protocol MTP driver. Yeah, so the Media Transfer Protocol driver in regards to, so that's, yeah, inbox driver. I wonder if I can look into in regards to inbox drivers and maybe update it, or maybe, oh wait, I forgot to, I need to go back here. Installation was cancelled. So build an image. Setup is starting, blah 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 blah. Yeah. But apparently it finds one of these inbox drivers, and it doesn't show that there's any problem. with the inbox driver. So the audio driver, it actually showed me having issues. Oh yeah, I did try with the other one as well, where it was not doing good either. I don't know. I have fixed it now, but there's of course clearly something wrong, and I don't know what is wrong in regards to why it is breaking, because it's breaking on the standard installation. It's breaking on the, if you make a CD with things and all that, it's breaking. There's so many levels that it's breaking on. I've sorted out the music drivers. As long as you make like one of these full installations of the West 7 in regards to this Windows thing, then it doesn't break. So I've been, that was the solution. Although I did have issues with it, even with the full installation. So I don't know what really sorted it out, but as long as I continue to run the full installation after I reinstalled it and all that, I haven't had issues with the sound drivers. But yeah, okay. So I add this folder, and this should be my driver thing folder that just sorts everything out, and it pretty much does. There might be some drivers that it doesn't really need in regards of. I think it added maybe no. That's Well, that's in regards to different chipset things and all that. Well, yeah, okay. And we still have the VP media transfer protocol thing, and it doesn't give me any issues with it. But what's the 3 point? It should be like this 3.0 thing that it should have found. Although I don't see. Oh yeah, Intel USB 3.0. So of course we want that installed, because if that's not installed, it won't work when when you fix the USB 3.0. You have all the fixes. Oh my, all those KB fixes. And again, there might be some KB fixes that sorts out this issue in regards of in regards of what is it called? Okay. In regards of this issue I have, or maybe I just need to, it's, this driver is clearly with the installation, right? So if one could actually get that thing that might work, which doesn't have an error or whatever, then of course it would be nice. Because again, I know that the version that Dell made doesn't have this error. Oh yeah, maybe these techies actually know something. Maybe I should try to ask them about it. Maybe they do know something about it. These nerds. At least they knew something in regards to the key code and all that. So now it's copying Windows files, expanding Windows files, and of course it's going to install features and updates, and then it's going to complete the installation. It takes around, actually, let's actually try to measure it, right? Because I haven't done that. Of course, the battery could run, so could stop in regards of any moment. But yeah, anyway, let's start it up and hope that the mobile keeps going. But I think around 2 hours, like Windows 2000 really, it takes a long time to install things. And one of the reasons why it takes a good amount of time is because, can we turn the mobile around here? There we go. One of the reasons why it takes so long is that first it installs the system, and then installs all the updates and all that. MS updates and all that, and then it installs the slipstream drivers, and then it's going into Windows, right? And I should also, I should have fixed the key. As far as I know, there's a way to fix the key into the system, so you don't need to fix that all the time. And I found out this key is actually a standard key for every Slim client apparently, so there's no specific unique key, so it doesn't really matter. And that's something I need to fix with the next edition, I guess, I make. But of course, going into all this Windows 2000, I have to be careful in regards of not forgetting everything in regards of Windows 7. So maybe I should finish the Windows 7 thing before actually. Yeah. Anyway, I'll be right back. Just turning off the screen here. I'll just get some coffee. I need to pee. So while it's installing, we'll just get some coffee. Coffee, and I'll just go up and pee, and I'll be back. That's very interesting, but it's very nice to actually have the Windows 7. Oh yeah. There we go. And of course it's installing features, and of course this will take some time. Well, it's fixed from a USB, so it's I guess it's going maybe quicker than a CD-ROM drive, and I guess if one fixed a faster USB key, maybe it would go even quicker. But anyway, so let's see what we have. What is AP key aperture size? Well, when I set the AP key aperture size more than 64 megabyte, the game pauses after every 5 or 6 seconds, and it's pretty much unplayable. But when I set the aperture size to 16 megabyte, the games are playable smoothly without any pauses. I'm pretty much confused that you said that setting the bigger aperture size would not be any problem. So could you please help me with my problem? Is there anything wrong with my hardware, or is there anything else I'm missing out? I'll be highly applied if you guide me through this problem. When you have a high aperture size, you allow graphics to use up your system memory, which is slower than the video memory. Yeah, okay. It seems that less faster memory is preferred. So it seems that less faster memory is preferred, or graphic could be using your system memory and leaving nothing for other things, seeing that you have only 256 megabyte. At least this is how I understand. Either way, if things work fine with 16 megabyte aperture, I still see no problem. Keep it that way. So I understand that, the idea that, if the graphic card actually do have some kind of megabyte for itself. I don't know if this little slim device actually do have something internally. And I have it's an Intel graphic controller generation 7, right? Apparently. But it doesn't really say if it has any internal what's it called? RAM or something like that, internal memory. But I can see, like, if it actually has access to much faster internal memory, I guess it would probably rather prefer to use that than using the RAM. which might be slower, right? If that's the case, and thereby you might get into some issues. And I guess if you also have multiple things accessing the RAM, that also takes it down in regards of, so if you have the graphic using the RAM and the system using the RAM. But it doesn't seem like I can turn it off in the BIOS. So I would, I would think it actually uses the RAM to do that. Question. Oh, wait. Oh, I don't have the keyboard here. Where's my keyboard? I can take the keyboard out with any issues on the Windows 7 installation, but not on the Windows 2000 apparently. Well, you want to have at least one place where the keyboard drivers are installed on. Let's see here. Question. A question for the do you know how to fix the MPT error? No, what's it called? What's it called? MPT. I can't even remember. MPT. Media. Let's see. Media. Android. I think it's MPT. MPT. Okay, yeah, okay. So yeah, I think it's got it right. I guess it's all. I guess it's. But anyway. Okay. Any case, see if anyone gets back. Okay, so Android MPT drivers. Again, I can see there's some what do you call it, and I guess I should search for that then in regards of inside drivers of, whatever. And, well, maybe I have actually, do I have the USB for, where's that USB, 400? We have this one, that is in regards of, we have portable apps, kind of Geek uninstaller, portable IOI uninstaller. Where's the? There we go. Let's put this in. If there's room. Kind of don't have room anymore. Okay. Apparently a little too many. Too many USB keys are put in. I'm gonna 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4. I don't see 4. 1, 2, 3. I do see 4. Well, that's missing one actually. I actually should have one more. Okay, that's empty. I can take that out. Eject. Oh, it says it's being used. Yeah. Well, whatever. Eject anyway. Eject. Save any open files on disk and then close the just inject it, give me just stop with the nonsense and inject it. I guess this other one is behind. Okay, it must be one of the things that is not being showed. Let's see, we have that one. Well, we can take that out, I guess. No, not that one. That one, no. Okay, so this one shouldn't be shown, and it was not. Okay. Oh, this is the broken thing. Apparently, it didn't get access or something like that. Yeah. It's terrible. That would. But it should be. It should be able to. This is the right direction. It should be turning. So. I don't know why it would have so much difficulty in snapping into place. It seems like it's a little off. Because there we go, and it just doesn't want to snap into. Okay. Okay, I nearly got it down. Okay, let's try again. Okay. I still have like 1 millimeter of. So maybe a little tool and a little pressure would snap it totally in. But I guess maybe that has been the problem all along, that it just hadn't been snapped into place like it should be, and maybe I just didn't realize it. Let's see if we can. USB device not recognized. Okay, apparently there seems to be some kind of problem with it. Okay, I jumped out again from the shell. Is there something wrong in regard to the shell? There's some kind of weird thing here. I think this would be. Yeah, well, whatever the case, it has its issues. Because I can still use it without the case, I guess. If I put it like this. Now USB is not recognized. It malfunctioned apparently. So I don't know if I broke it or something like that. What was on it? That's a good question. Oh yeah, that was the one that I used for the Linux system. So at least there wasn't anything valuable on it. Hopefully I haven't broken it now. I don't know why it should be broke. Maybe there's this little metal thing at the end, and yeah, so it should be this direction that you need to put it. You know, there's no other way to really put it any other way. It clearly seems to, you could put it this direction because you wouldn't have. So there's only one direction you can put it, and yet it's stuck. You know, it just doesn't wanna go. You know, it doesn't wanna move, and you know, you get it on here, and yet it doesn't wanna. It could be maybe this wire thing here that might be in its. Let's try to fix this. The rope here, and let's move the rope here and get some. Could be the rope that is in there, but of course that shouldn't make it break. In regards of. Oh, come on, this rope wants to go to the sides very easily. See if we can. I guess I could take the rope out and at least we wouldn't have that as an issue, but of course that makes it a little harder to actually but yeah, let's take the rope out, see if that's the thing that keeps it from easily. Oh well, anyway, I needed the other one, right? I needed to check in regards of the in. See if it had wanna work. Let's try to see if we can get this. It's pretty stuck in regards to this rope thing, this small minor rope. Apparently the computer has not seen the... let's see here. Now I have coffee, and the day is moving ahead for getting dark. I don't know, it's kind of the rope is kind of doesn't want to. Shouldn't be that. That's the only thing that I could see would maybe make it like not wanna go through maybe and stick getting stuck, right? I don't know. Oh wait, did we get it? Looks like we pretty much have gotten it to the place where it should be, so maybe it was something in regards to the rope. Whatever the case, we seem to have it up, although a question of course, does it work? I don't know. Oh, we still didn't get the other one. It's typical with these USB things. You always have issues with them. It's even gotten somewhat hot and yet it hasn't shown anything in. There we go. Well, at least it made a sound, so it's, but sometimes it just doesn't want to read it, and you just have to apparently wait for it. Just issues. It's very tedious, and that's of course when you use the micro SD for the readers. I guess you have multiple things that can go wrong, and that apparently tends to happen a lot. Maybe there's some better readers out there, 2 different readers, and some does better with some cards than others, and it's a mess overall. So but yeah, I had sorted out in regards to which one was doing best, right? With what. And these SD cards also become very hot, and yet the readers haven't made anything in regards of some kind of heat thing. I don't know. I guess it's okay. Still not showing. Sometimes it actually is. Sometimes Windows have actually found it, but in regards to partitioning, you need to go into partition, create hard drives and all that, and you need to fix a letter to it, because apparently Microsocks or Megasocks apparently has different difficulties with that. I see a removable drive that says it has no media in it. I guess I can try to take out the memory card. I don't know if that's actually possible, if you can just take out the memory card and put a memory card in and have it work. Usually I take the whole thing out and put it in again. I guess you should maybe be able to, but it's not doing anything. It's just saying no media, and if I take it out, it's probably going to remove that disk tree, I would think. Well, maybe it needs to update. Still showing see, refresh. Let's see if it still shows the disk tree. Well, apparently it's still showing disk tree. Okay, interesting. I guess I do have a good amount of USB keys in the computer, but you know, that should not make everything else not work, right? And you can hear it connects, and yet it doesn't show up. And that's the typical nutty things that I have with computers, and then all of a sudden things begins to work again, and yeah, whatever. Just, you know, maybe it works, maybe not, maybe it works, maybe it's not, and yeah, it's just disgusting. Let's try the thing here. I have the one that was broken. Let's see if it's not broken anymore. No, USB device not recognized. I think I might have broken that that USB. It says it's broken anyway. Oh no, I just. So here we go again. It flipped out again. I don't know what I should have done to make it not work. You know, it doesn't. Yeah, I had it working on the other one without the case on, but maybe trying to put the case in, maybe it did something. Maybe it damaged something, although I don't see what it should have damaged in regards of. But yeah, I've been pretty good. You know, it's not totally bad in regards of. It's been a pretty good USB thing. But apparently using it took its toll, apparently, and just broke this thing off. Why in the world it would break up in regards to this, I don't know. Of course, if I just had, you know, but it's made for you to pull in it, you know, the plastic thing, you know, it's made for getting your fingers in there and pull it, right? But you could have used I could have used the wire every single time, but sometimes you just doesn't do that, right? But apparently the wire is connected to the metal piece, and thereby it would make less of an issue because you're pulling the metal and not the plastic. So thereby the plastic wouldn't get out, which, you know, so I don't know. I'll test it on the other Slim client if it's broken already. You know, again, you could take it out of the case. You don't need to use the case, really. Although it does seem to not fit totally. I had one that was just pretty much very small, without any case, that worked pretty good without any issues in the past. Well, it broke up, as you know. Typically breaking up. Okay, the plastic here does seem to, you know, doesn't look too good in regards to the plastic here, because it apparently needs the metal to keep this thing up. I still don't see why it should be breaking and having been ruined, maybe. Any case, I didn't have any data that was very important. I just had the absolute Linux on it. But of course, it's kind of sad because I was using the two I had a good amount because they were more solid than some of the others to actually do my thing. So having one less is kind of not so good. Uh-oh, it's just breaking apart more and more. Also, I have a very old USB pin, although it still works, but I guess maybe it's because it seems pretty rock solid, in its how it's made, but I guess it's never been used like every day, this and that and all that, because it didn't do good with portable applications. But it's very old. It's very, very old. I think this is pretty much the oldest USB key I have. It's also the slowest. So it's done pretty good. It's, what is it called? Voyage or something, GT, but it's very slow. It didn't do good with portable applications, which was the reason why I got it. Was as far as I recall, it was a huge disappointment when I got it. And then I got the SSD 64 GB instead, which seems to also have that seems to also have issues. It has been used it's been used a good amount, because that was my portable key to go to, but it seems like it has begun to have issues, and it failed with some data and all that, so that's also for the trash pretty much. But it has run its course for sure, 10 years or something. So can't really, but yeah, this is not bad. This is not good because I have one that I use for the Windows 7 installation, and then I had this that I used just to make secondary things, and so that was pretty much my primary, but apparently it didn't keep up. And if it's broken now, then I guess, yeah, well, I guess there's not much to do about that. So, sad. Well, I was looking into the newer versions of these, and in the idea you could easily put them to your keys and all that, and it wouldn't be too much weight or anything like that. But again, in regards to the lower end level, there's a couple of these small things where you could test them against each other, and some clearly does better on the lower end than others, but I'm like, you get sick and tired of trying to find the thing that works, right? And then you find something, and then you don't have the possibility of having a hole for something, and yeah, you gotta be kidding me. I just don't understand what would have broken, why it would have broken all of a sudden. Yeah, sure, I put some pressure on it to close it down, but I don't see why that would make it break, in any way. It's I just fixed it, tried to fix it together, right, as it is. And here we go, we have it fixed again. No, maybe it's not totally. It looks like, at least on one side, to be, yeah, I know. I guess the other one is installing. But yeah, I should have pulled this one. I shouldn't have pulled in the plastic, apparently. That was stupid. Stupid of me. I thought it was sitting pretty good together. Apparently not. Well, so far so good, I guess. Um, Terrible. Lost the media. The problem is, of course, I can use these SD things as well, right? I do have SD cards, and I did get some 64 gigabyte versions of them, although one is have some Windows installed. But I do have like two of these micro SanDisk Extreme Pro, which is should be the fastest of the SanDisk, and these are 64 gigabyte. But the problem is in regards of making the USB pins, realize that they are there, and of course I also have some other things like systems and all that on one of them, so I will need to exchange the micro SD card. Well, that's I have two readers. One reader broken up a little, because things are not made to last. Of course, in our days, everything is made to break. I have one that I use for portable applications, for testing portable applications out, so I can move portable applications back and forward. Although I could delete that, and I guess the other one I could also look into not. I can flip it around that, so maybe I should look into that and just waste this system of Windows 7 on my micro. I do have other cards that would be probably as good to use for what do you call it? Actually, maybe even better in regards to Windows 7 and a micro SD. So maybe I actually should. It's very interesting that a micro SD can actually run Windows 7 with this little guy here. You can actually fix a micro SD card in it, but it seems like that maybe the older SD cards, or the ones that should actually be worse, actually might be better in the lower end of testing. And if they are better in the lower end, of course that makes them actually better in regards of using for a system, because that's the lower end of the small files and all that. So, but then again, I should actually use those, I guess, as well in regards of maybe the. Okay, we'll need to do some testing, I guess. Let's see here what we have. Okay, because I can't remember. Okay, what we're going to do is because of course the difference is also in regards of how many files is there on a micro SD. How is it formatted, and so you do actually have different things, factors and all that, and what kind of port are you using? Is there any other factors that actually is So I can't, but I do have a test application. Let's see here. Atto benchmark is what I've been using for on the lower end, because I can't figure out these other things here. This seems more sanity. So let's try the portable, but it's not. It's like in a 2.0. Oh, we don't need this one. Now we can pull that out. Oh no, not this one, that one. Pull this one out. That is also. Now it's moving files on this HyperX, which is like the first SSD for USB. That was wonderful. Absolutely did its job for sure. Uh-oh. Where did that go? Oh no. Oh, there we go. And we also have this other one. And let's eject that as well. Oh, I guess that's fine actually. Now let's put this in this one. There we go. So let's make a little test in regards of these two different kinds of there's no refresh button. Well, I guess you can do it like this, and just then you guess you have a free refresh, right? Okay, you do. Okay, there we go, and we can start the test. And then I have these two kinds of. I have a lot of older SD cards that have been used for because different mobiles have had these SD cards, and as long as they don't break, right, you can use them for other things. So I have a lot of older ones. You're gonna use it for MP3 files and put them in some of these players and all that. Of course, the problem is when they are so small is that you can't really. Well, actually, that's actually a pretty good idea, I think. I was just thinking about something. If you actually put the label on it and then in this direction, you could also pull it like, you could have it like a pole thing, but you can also actually, write what is, that was actually be a pretty good idea. You should still be able to put them in the, and then have them fit on the, I wonder, it's like, how is it on the behind? Yeah, you could actually, you could have it on both sides. You could have a label going on this side. You can nearly have it to the, and then on the other side, and then you could probably make it so you could actually pull it out easily as well. And besides that, actually have some kind of labeling on them. I wonder if anyone have thought about that. So here we have the the SD thing being tested here, and it's running 383 at the first one, and 446 and 997. And of course, those are the numbers that are interesting, because that's the numbers we want to have higher. I don't think the read does that much, although I don't know if that's a sweet spot where it begins to really be a problem. But it seems like the write seems to be a very big issue in regards to portable applications and systems and running systems from it. And if we compare it to this one that is just wonderful, we have, I think, 200 and 400 and then 800. So it seems like it seems like it's doing, pretty good. Then it goes up to 170 megabytes and all that in regards to read. And write is around 100 and all that, but it doesn't really matter in regards of the higher levels. Also, when it gets too hot, it begins to down throttle, which is a huge problem for micro SD cards. When they get to a specific heating point, they just down throttle, which in regards to the hard drive thing, they don't use the full extent of that anyway. So if you're going to install a system on a micro SD card, I don't think it will get too hot because it doesn't run full speed. Because if you're running full speed on a longer period, it will clearly, it gets so, if you fix your finger, right? And you're even thinking, if I'm going to continue to have my finger here, I will burn, right? You can also control the down throttling by actually taking your fingers on it, so it exchanges the heat away from the thing. I have no idea why no one making these micro SD cards wouldn't have sorted out some kind of thing that takes the heat away from it, right? By the way, we have it's doing pretty good in regards of Atto benchmark. So we're going to take another one, another Atto benchmark test, and we'll going to do it on my 64 gigabyte SSD from 10 years of old. I'm just going to compare the test results, and then we are going to take one of these other kinds of that is a little lower than. Also would actually be interesting to take that 1 terabyte I have here. Go, let's put this up. Oh yeah, it's hot. It's really hot. Oh my, it's really hot. Oh yeah. It's hot. Well, you can feel it for sure. And also the same reader is hot as well. So again, why wouldn't they fix something? You know, the whole micro SD is covered, right? Why not fix something metal or something like that that actually would be used as a heat dish, you know, heat, getting the heat away. Or maybe that's too much money or something like that. But anyway, oh, wait, what is it doing? Oh yeah, okay. I was just, you know. So here we see the other one is doing 200 on the right, 400 on the right, and 800. So actually the micro SD card in the right section is actually doing better than my old SSD on those levels, on those low levels, which is nice to see. But the read side, it's doing worse. But the question is in regards to the sweet spot, because I did have something that was doing very nice on the read, but very, half of the speed, the other SSD of the second generation, and it was doing half the speed of the other SSD. And when you install the system on it, it was absolutely terrible compared to. So the question, of course, does it make any change? If I install the system on this and compared it to the others, how would it do? I haven't tested that, but anyway, I guess it doesn't matter. I think I have a good idea to hack the planet, and then I don't need to think about that at all. But of course, it would be nice to have like a small thing to, yeah. Anyway, I think the Windows 7 system I have on that thing, I think I'll probably exchange that with another. I could also just actually do the 1 terabyte, and at least I could use the 1 terabyte for something. I have an old terabyte card, which we're going to try afterwards, to see what it gets off. I don't know where did I put it? That's a good question. Oh, it's also already in, maybe? Is this? No, it is. Oh, yeah, it's already in, of course. Okay. I'll put it in. I'm just waiting for the HyperX to, okay, fix its way. So we have the MSD 1 terabyte NTFS. Of course, also, yeah, NTFS will probably be 4 kilobyte clusters. Yeah. And of course, the other system is still installing, Windows 7. Again, around 2 hours, I would think, that it will take. Of course, it will take a little time in regards of the key as well, but putting in the key can take a couple of minutes, I guess. Then, of course, some details and this and that, but overall, I think around 2 hours. And then, of course, you need to sort out the last couple of things with the Windows installation. So everything takes still a couple of hours, but it's a lot better than. But anyway, it's very interesting that this micro SD card actually in the right section, it's actually double the amount of speed than the old SSD on the lowest 512 byte files. That's actually pretty nice. I did see some of these small USB things, where some are absolutely better in the lower files than others. I think it was Lexa and Samsung. And Lexa seemed to be, at least the test that I saw, seemed to actually get better on the lower files compared to Samsung, but Samsung wasn't that far. Now, of course, the question is how much in regards of how low files and all small files and all that, right? But the problem with the Lexa was that this specific Lexa did not have like a thing where you could fix a landline or whatever it's called, LAN, whatever. So that was, of course, a problem. It would be a problem because, if you don't have anything, you can't fix it to any keys, or you can't it will get easily, you will lose it easily, right? Um, anyway, so of course it could be interesting with the micro SD system thing that I have. That with this, like, you can install a system on it, and of course you don't have the data transfer. But I don't really have anything I can put in the computer that actually has as much storage than actually I have with. I put a 1 terabyte card in it. Well, I have 1 terabyte card, but it was, again, too slow to. But again, this fixes, so it apparently becomes faster on the lower end, and maybe that will be okay. Okay, we have this one. Let's try the 1 terabyte. Apparently the I didn't have any name on the I. Okay. And well, that's around. So the I didn't have a name. I will need to rename that if that doesn't have a name on it. So, and then we'll try those and see. Well, anyway, so getting a little closer to thing. Okay, we'll try that. Yeah, this only gets 100 in the right, the first one, and then 166. So this is already much slower in regards to the right. But again, if you fix it with this other thing, it might actually boost it a huge amount. It's very incredible how it boosts the small files with this little thing, but it doesn't do the higher speeds, so you only get like 45 megabyte or something of that nature. It doesn't use the card that well on the higher end, which of course is probably a good thing in regards to the heat, so even if it doesn't do well on the higher end, it doesn't really matter. But maybe that actually would be a perfect choice to actually put into that and install a system. But again, you wouldn't be a lot, if you're moving files, it wouldn't be that fast compared to the SSD. But the only thing I really have used that other SD card is as a backup in some sense, which of course is also not bad to use it as a backup. And here we see the data on the write speeds. It's around 36 megabyte, and it continues with only 36 megabytes, so it's not terrible good. But again, with this little device, it might not be terrible bad, but I will need to test it. Could be interesting to test it, comparing it to the other one, and then maybe it would actually be a pretty good way to maybe run a system. I don't know, Windows 7 on a micro SD. I can't remember if you did have some mouse dragging issues, but I think you do that on the SSD as well. But I don't know. And now as it goes down, so it kind of have its issues in regards to the drive section or the write section. So it has a lot of storage, but yeah, it's kind of questionable in regards of its running. In the write speed section, it is clearly not that fast compared to at least the 64. Of course, it doesn't do, on this little thing, if you use it as a hard drive, it wouldn't use much anyway. I can't remember the data on it, but it doesn't use much anyway. It doesn't use the full extent of. So that might actually not be of a big concern. Now it does go, in regards to the read speeds, it goes to 118 megabyte when it begins to go into bigger files. But again, it never uses that as a hard drive with this. It only uses around 45 megabyte or something like that, or maybe less. So that's not really a concern, I guess. It just goes closer to the write speed, the write read speed, It's interesting how the read speed of this card, this 1 TB card SD micro, is like huge, right? When it gets to, it's 118, right, a megabyte, but the write speeds are, the maximum is around 36 megabyte. And that's of course not so good compared to like a card like here. Actually, be interesting to also check my card that I have in the mobile, because that's also 1 TB. I don't think I actually have tested that. That would actually, well, with this application anyway. I have tested it with, maybe I have, I'm not sure. But yeah, that should be a lot quicker. I want to test it out. Can I do that without actually closing the, probably not, but we'll try.